Welcome to this explainer. If you've recently built or customized an ergonomic keyboard and you're feeling like your keys are lagging just a fraction of a second behind your fingers, well, first off, don't panic. You are absolutely not alone. Today, we're diving deep into exactly why your keyboard might be feeling a bit sluggish, the hidden mechanics behind that delay, and best of all, how we're going to troubleshoot and fix it to perfectly match your unique typing style.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the shift key dilemma, then move into the homerow mod problem. After that, we'll talk about ruling out hardware issues, choosing your typing style, and finally, tuning your settings. All right, let's jump right in.
Section 1. The Shift Key Dilemma, covering your options and alternatives. So, how do we actually handle capital letters on modern split keyboards? Once you ditch the standard layout, you've got a whole buffet of options, and the quote-unquote best one is totally subjective. You could use a regular shift key, tucking it under your pinky or thumb. You could go with auto shift, which automatically capitalizes a letter if you hold it just a tiny bit longer. Then there's the caps letter, or one-shot shift, where you tap a combo and boom, the very next key is capitalized. There's also caps word, which brilliantly keeps everything uppercase until you hit a space or punctuation. And, of course, the classic caps lock toggle. But today, we're zooming in on a highly popular, super ergonomic choice, homerow modifiers.
Moving to Section 2, the homerow mod problem, and understanding the delay. Here's the thing. When you use homerow mods, your standard keys are suddenly pulling double duty. You tap them for a normal letter, but you hold them down to act as a modifier, like Shift or Control. Because one physical key is now doing two totally different things, your keyboard essentially turns into a tiny traffic cop. It enforces what we call a decision window. Every time you press a key, the keyboard literally has to pause. It waits a split second to see, hey, is this user intending to tap or are they intending to hold? And that little pause, that is exactly what creates that perceived visual delay of the letter appearing on your screen.
Now check out this fascinating number, 120. Even with that perceived visual delay, which, by the way, is a completely normal part of the software's logic, it doesn't actually cap your physical typing speed. No way! You can absolutely still type at blistering speeds of 120 words per minute or more with homerow mods. The delay is just visual, on the screen. It has nothing to do with the keyboard's ability to process your keystrokes in rapid sequence.
That brings us to Section 3, ruling out hardware issues and isolating the lag.
So, before we go tweaking any intricate layout settings, it's absolutely crucial we make sure this lag isn't actually just some hardware or environment gremlin messing with us. We've got a simple 4-step isolation process. First up, plug your keyboard directly in via USB. If the lag instantly vanishes, you're likely dealing with Bluetooth interference. Simple as that. Second, test your raw input speed by entering typing mode. If you're on a Taylor key layout, just press the magic key plus the equals key. This temporarily kills the homerow mod logic so you can really feel the raw speed of the board. Third, check your PC's connection. Believe it or not, sometimes USB 2.0 ports actually perform more reliably than 3.0 for peripherals. Oh, and make sure your operating system isn't putting your USB ports to sleep to save power. Finally, step 4, disable background keyboard apps. Things like Carbiner Elements on Mac OS or other automated hotkey scripts can intercept your keystrokes and introduce some serious lag. Just turn them off and let the keyboard's firmware handle the inputs directly.
All right, Section 4, choosing your typing style, where we look at safety versus speed.
Okay, so once your hardware is fully cleared, the next step in our explainer is balancing the primary homerow mod trade-off. It's basically a tug-of-war between a slight visual delay and accidental shortcuts. You've really got two main philosophies to choose from here. Option A is what we call safety first. It's a tap preference setting. With this, letters only appear on your screen after you lift your finger. The massive pro here? Safety, of course. You can roll your fingers across the keys at top speed without accidentally triggering some random shortcut that completely closes your window. Then you have option B, instant speed. This is a balance setting where letters appear instantly the exact moment you press the key. It feels incredibly snappy, zero visual delay. But the trap is, if your typing is messy or you tend to roll your fingers without lifting cleanly, you will trigger accidental modifiers. It's a risk.
To give you a bit of context on how these play out in the real world, safety first is actually the default for standard Taylor key layouts and Sonaku's famous glorious n-grammar logic. It's exactly what most fast programmers and high-speed typists prefer. Why? Because a tiny visual delay is infinitely better than accidentally deleting an entire line of code, right? On the flip side, beginners usually thrive on the predictability of option B, instant speed. That's why it's the default in the Taylor Key Essentials layout designed for Go 60 beginners. It just feels exactly like a traditional keyboard right out of the box.
Now, if you're a beginner looking for that instant speed style, the latest Google model recommends some very specific timer values to get that perfect, balanced flavor. Here's how it breaks down. You set your tapping term, which is the speed timer, to 220 milliseconds. Then you implement a typing shield by setting require prior idle to 125 milliseconds. This specifically stops accidental modifiers from firing when you're typing quickly. And finally, a quick tap of 200 milliseconds acts as a helper. It allows you to easily type fast double letters, like the 2 T's in the word letter, without the keyboard getting confused and thinking you're trying to hold a modifier.
Did you notice that 220 milliseconds medium speed timer we just looked at? I really want to highlight this because 220 milliseconds is literally a tiny fraction of a second. It's perfectly tuned to keep the keyboard feeling incredibly snappy and responsive while still giving the firmware just enough time to accurately process your intentions.
And finally, Section 5, tuning your settings to perfectly adjust your setup.
But what if you're a total power user? Say you love the safety-first style, because, accidental shortcuts are the absolute worst, yet you still want the keys to feel just a bit faster as your typing technique gets better. Well, as the source material points out, you do not have to abandon your safety net. You don't need to change your fundamental style at all. You simply need to shorten the tapping term. You're basically just shrinking that decision window to match your newly acquired speed. Pretty neat, right?
And the best part? You can do this without writing a single line of code. It's a super simple 3-step process. First, always create a JSON backup of your current layout. Second, open up the TaylorKey HRM tuning tool. Sinaco actually defined recommended difficulty levels based on safe starting values. So you just hop in the visual tool and choose a lower difficulty level to shorten that wait time. Third, apply it. Just restore your new, tuned backup to your keyboard. It really is that easy to customize the firmware to your specific hands. So, the final provocative thought I want to leave you with for this explainer is this. When it comes to mastering your ergonomic keyboard, are you willing to embrace a split second of visual delay for absolute, unshakable typing accuracy? Or does your rhythm demand the thrill of instant speed, even if it means risking a few accidental shortcuts along the way? The beauty of homerow mods is that the choice and the power to change it is entirely in your hands. Thanks so much for joining me today, and happy typing.